Hello, everyone. I hope that you're having a great day and I trust that you are doing well. What we have for you today is our presentation about the ethics of persuasive storytelling. This is presented by me, Francisco, and my two group mates, Maxwell and Sarah. And we are under the tutorial group of Thursday, 2 p.m. under Ludo. Now, before I begin, please allow me to give you a rundown of what we'll be discussing today. It's divided into three parts. The first part, discussed by me, will discuss the ethical considerations of persuasive storytelling. Part 2, discussed by Max, will outline codes, principles, or standards established by relevant bodies. And the final part, discussed by Sarah, will highlight examples and what can be learned from them. Now, before we continue, we must first define what persuasive storytelling is. Persuasive communication, also known as persuasive storytelling, refers to how messages are used to influence the beliefs, behaviors, and attitudes of others. Part of persuasive communication is strategically determining what methods of language, content, and delivery are needed to achieve this goal. Persuasive communication is characterized by its aim to shape how others think, feel, or act, which is central to what makes this form of communication different from others. Now that we've discussed and defined what persuasive storytelling is, we can now move on to our first part, which is what are the ethical considerations of persuasive storytelling? To understand how ethics play in persuasive storytelling, I applied the three major theories of ethics: utilitarian, virtue, and deontological ethics. Using these theories, I will be able to analyze the ethical considerations that persuasive storytelling exhibits. The first ethical theory we will explore is utilitarianism. John Stuart Mill articulated this theory as aiming to achieve the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Now, in the realm of persuasive communication, utilitarianism involves making decisions that maximize the benefit for a range of stakeholders, including the public, the clients, and the employees, and the organization itself. This approach prioritizes the outcomes that enhance overall well being and create the most positive impact across all affected groups. An example of this is when a PR professional decides to release specific information that might lead to the most positive outcome for the stakeholders involved. Further expounding on the field of PR, a practitioner must be responsible for considering the consequences of their work, which fall under utilitarianism ethics. Virtue ethics, on the other hand, rather than focusing on the consequences, deals with asking the question, is what am I doing virtuous, or what kind of person should I be? In the field of persuasive communication, one must aim to cultivate professional values and personal values such as honesty, integrity, courage, and fairness. Now, these attributes would then be a basis for their decision making process. In the field of persuasive communication, one must practice such virtues rather than simply following the rules or pursuing good outcomes. Now, in terms of PR or advertising, one must be trustworthy or empathetic, which can then help when it comes to long term relationships and reputation. Lastly, we turn to deontological ethics, which emphasizes adherence to moral rules or duties regardless of the consequence. In the context of persuasive communication, this ethical framework requires professionals to strictly follow their established codes of conduct. This means that practitioners have a duty to uphold ethical principles such as honesty, transparency, and integrity in their interactions. These codes outline specific responsibilities to clients, the public, and the professions, ensuring that the actions are guided by a commitment to moral duties rather than solely the outcomes that they might produce. Now, leading from my last point, the ontological ethics, I will be opening the floor to our group's next presenter, which will further discuss and expound on the specific codes that professionals might follow in the field of persuasive storytelling.